One of my favorite forms of traditional housing is the yurt. And today here in the Pacific Northwest, we're about to meet one couple who has taken this very traditional design and given it a modern edge. Hey Nicole, how's it going?
Good.
Great to meet you. G'day
Hey,
Zach,
Bryce.
how's it going, mate?
Good.
This is just such a neat place that you've built here.
Thank you very much. I know, it's a wonderful little yurt that we have.
Yeah. So you actually spent a couple of years living out of your van before you did this project, didn't you?
It's true, yes. I had a old cargo van that was converted and built a website documenting the whole build process called the Vanual, and just last year decided to retire that and build a yurt with this wonderful woman here.
Yeah. So the yurt is tiny house living take 2.
Yes, exactly. Version 2.0.
So what was it that inspired the yurt project?
Well, I got a job in Portland, which was the first inspiration to moving here. And we decided to do something a little bit different than living traditionally as we had been.
Yeah, we considered a bunch of different options. You know, there's obviously the tiny house, maybe like converting a chicken coop, or there was that used submarine that was on Craigslist.
Yeah, it was a tough decision.
Yeah, but ultimately we went with the yurt. You know, yurts have such a unique, rich history and a unique construction process, and so we wanted to kind of experience what that was like.
We were inspired to do this project to downsize our living space, and also we were looking for a design challenge and also just a building challenge. And so with the yurt, that provided both of those things.
I would say 99% of all yurts look very similar. And so that presented an opportunity to kind of put our own twist on things. And it was kind of our opportunity to bring yurt into the 21st century and make it look like a modern contemporary space that people that normally wouldn't imagine themselves living in a yurt could potentially imagine themselves living in this one.
So what was the process of building the yurt like?
It was definitely unique. One being that it's round, so you have to consider that. So that kind of inspired the loft and the builded room in the center. So it definitely took a lot of consideration with how we were going to build the rooms and the living space to not seem so open and actually have some design aspect to it.
And building the exterior structure, I mean, is unlike building almost any other structure around. I mean, it's got these lattice walls that kind of extend out, and then these rafters that sit on that lattice and go to the ring. And, you know, we had all of our closest friends and family out for a weekend to build the exterior structure.
Sorry, up, everybody up, let's go up.
Good.
Okay, set her down, you got it.
I mean, it was quite collaborative, and, you know, it was just a fun time because most of our friends don't have any experience building anything. So it was all like a learning process and totally DIY, do it yourself this time around. And it was a challenge for sure, but we definitely learned things along the way.
You're definitely taking it out with the building puns there, right?
It's one of my specialties.
It certainly is. And was it quite easy for you to find a place to build the yurt?
Yeah, we didn't really have a whole lot of time to find property to build this on. So we were just looking on Craigslist for hours, trying to find some sort of land that someone was leasing. Buying property was out of our budget at this current point in time. And we found this beautiful property that is about 25 acres. We're leasing just a small postage stamp for the yurt. But I mean, the nature around us is really nice being so close to the city.
And can you walk me through what it took to actually prepare the site to construct the yurt on top of it?
Yeah, so when I got here, there was absolutely nothing. There was just overgrown blackberries, you know, so I had to clear that all out, try to level it as much as I could, and then once that was clear, go into the actual construction process. A yurt of this size sits on footings, and so there are 12 footings underneath the yurt that are 3 feet deep into the ground. And that's what the subframe sits on, and then the sit panels of the platform sit on that subframe, and then obviously the yurt sits on that platform.
And what is the size of the yurt?
I mean, it's about 730 square feet, and then the loft adds another about 200 square feet to that.
Well, I think from the exterior, this looks like such a neat project that you've done, and I cannot wait to see the inside. Can we have a look?
Let's take a look.
All right, after you.
Welcome.
This is fantastic.
Thank you.
I really like the way that you've designed everything around this central cube unit.
Yeah, we wanted to do something quite different than most other yurts. And a lot of yurts that are built, they like to keep the space wide open, no walls or rooms. But we really wanted this space to be functional, and so we have the bathroom inside this room and then the loft on top. So the loft itself is kind of this unique circular structure to kind of match the obviously circular structure that we're living in, which I have not seen done before.
So we wanted to maintain a modern look to the yurt, but we wanted to also incorporate some color, and so we decided to do that with the greenery of the plants.
Yeah, and we try to keep the color palette pretty muted, neutral, and then bring that pop of color with the monsteras or the philodendrons that are up on the loft.
And it's nice how you've got all of the lattice work exposed in here as well.
Yeah, I mean, most yurts, they have natural colored lattice, and depending on the wood, it kind of has like an orangey look to it. So we definitely didn't want to hide the lattice because it is quite striking and unique of a geometric pattern inside the yurt, but we wanted to just kind of subdue it and not have it be such an overpowering element to the design and the feel of the space.
And obviously here in Portland as well, it can get pretty cold. Talk to me about the way that the yurt is insulated.
It's double insulated with Reflectix on the outside, which is contained in between the interior and the exterior. And then we also have a wood stove that we use to keep it warm in the winter months.
Yeah, it gets a little nippy during the December, January, February, and the stove has been kind of a godsend during those times, but still, keeping with the whole contemporary vibe and, nice and minimalist wood stove.
And then here upon entering, we've got your living room.
We wanted a space where we could spend a lot of our time during the day and away from distractions. So instead of a TV, we just have our big French doors and have more than enough entertainment watching outside of there. I didn't think I would say this, but I've become quite the bird watcher.
Yes.
Everyone needs a hobby.
You finally found it, baby.
Yes. And then here in the living space, this couch pulls out into a full-size mattress. And so when we have friends and family visiting, they have a place to stay. And it's been great to have a revolving door of people that we admire the most come and see the yurt that we built.
And then you've got a really great office space set up as well.
When we were designing the space, we didn't really know what we wanted to do with this last little section, and I got a little selfish and made a home office. And honestly, it's been fantastic just having my own little space that I can work at during the day. I do a lot of work from home, from the yurt. And, I can hear the birds, obviously, but, the sunshine shining through the window and just fresh air. It's just been a great working environment. So, yeah, bookshelves, got my nice whiteboard here. I'm a compulsive list maker, so it's always been nice to be able to make a list of the lists that I have to make. And we documented the whole yurt build for a website that we made called Do It Yurtself. So we created the website. All of that stuff has been done from this desk right here, which is kind of awesome to build something like that inside the yurt itself.
And then we've got your kitchen over here.
Yeah, what's nice about this space is that even though we have a loft and then we have a room inside of here, we're able to walk all the way around without any obstructions. It provides a really natural flow and movement to the whole space inside.
So we wanted to maintain the function of the kitchen, but also keep it minimal. So we still are able to use our convection oven to roast a chicken or to bake cookies. And we also have a cooktop that we can use to boil water, fry eggs. So we can still do everything in the kitchen, but we have kept the counter space minimal.
And then you've got the island here as well?
Yeah, this is actually kind of our cooking space, but also where we eat all of our meals. And when we have guests over, we all eat around here, and it's kind of a nice, natural, like being able to just cook and eat and talk and hang out all in one little spot. So yeah, it's wonderful.
And tell me about the services here. What do you do for electricity and water?
Yeah, so I like to say we're conscientiously on the grid. We're not off the grid. So we are hooked into power from the city, and everything in here, from the lights to the outlets to the water here, it all runs off of 30 amps. So it's not a lot. And then the water is from a well. So it's definitely well water. It tastes like well water, and it stains everything. So that's why we have this here for our drinking water.
And then inside the cube here is your bathroom. Can we have a look at what you've done there?
Yes. So we obviously wanted our bathroom to be private, and that's why we kind of made this room. And then it just is accessed through a pocket door. We wanted to incorporate the lattice pattern in other places in the yurt, so we kind of decorated the door with the lattice pattern that you see on the walls.
It's a nice touch.
Thank you. Motion activated lights make it really nice at night. Yeah, this is our bathroom, which is more than enough space than we need. It was interesting to design how much space we would need at the very beginning, with just either 3D models or tape on the ground. We didn't really quite know how it would feel in the physical space. So this is quite roomy.
It's a very roomy bathroom.
And we have obviously our sink vanity. To the right, we have our closet. It's kind of our... everyone says to be minimalist, you need to get rid of all your things, but the truth is you just need to hide it all. And so it's all hidden in here, and it's kind of our junk closet. It's got our clothes, I think it's got sleeping bags, camping gear. Her old bassoon is in there.
Oh, wow. Everything you need. All the essentials.
Real minimalist. And then, as you can tell, the fan is humidity controlled. The lights come on with an occupancy sensor, so just as we walk in, they turn on. Our shower is over here. It's got a wonderful orange patina thanks to the well water that we have. And we typically only try to clean that off when we have special guests, like famous YouTubers from New Zealand.
I'll expect it to be sparkly then.
It's not. And then over here we have the compost toilet from Separate. I mean, we've had no problems with it. We've actually quite enjoyed using it.
And then above us we've got the sleeping loft, and I'm really interested to see how you've pulled this one off.
So we access the loft, which is our bedroom, through this loft ladder here.
It's great for vertically challenged people like us, but you watch your head when you're going up.
I'm going to have some fun with it. Gotcha. This is really cool. Definitely a squeeze coming up here, but oh my gosh, look at all of the plants. That is such a nice feature.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of our little Garden of Eden up here, having a nice oasis. It is a pain to water all these plants. They are, in fact, all real. So that's my duty, is watering the plants upstairs. She waters the plants downstairs. It's pretty barren, minimal up here. It's pretty much only a space that we use for sleeping. So we just have our bed here. There is power up here, so we can charge our phones. And what else do we charge?
Boombox.
Our old 1970s boombox when we want to listen to some LL Cool J is also up here. But I mean, the great thing is like sleeping here under this massive ring and being able to see, I mean, you can see the stars at night, hear the owls.
And see the birds.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And it does make for a rude awakening in the morning when the sun is just blasting your eyes. But
so sleeping in's not an option here.
Nope.
And how long have you been living in the yurt now?
We've been living in the yurt for 6 months now.
And how are you finding life here?
We love it.
Yeah, we've enjoyed spending it together, spending time in here together, and spending time with all of our friends and family along the way.
To wake up in a space that we built and designed is really surreal, and I think the most special part of that is that our friends helped us build many different parts of this yurt along our journey, and so that's something that we kind of feel that is very special to us in that way.
And then can we talk about the budget that was involved in bringing this project to life?
So I think for the actual yurt structure itself is about $31,000. The platform that it sits on adds another $10,000. And then the internal structure, this loft, all the furniture and appliances probably added another $20,000 to $25,000. So all in all, it was a pretty good chunk of change. The reason that I'm documenting these builds and creating these guides for people to follow along is I really want to encourage people to actually go out and experiment with building their own space. When you go through that process, it fundamentally changes how you look at the built environment around you. You start to notice all the little things that are in someone's house or in a building that you walk into. We went into a taqueria that had really tall ceilings, and I was like, can you imagine putting drywall up this entire ceiling? That's something that you wouldn't recognize if you hadn't built your own space before that.
And so what does the future hold for you both now?
Yeah, you're actually meeting us at the tail end of this journey. We were most interested in the actual construction process, what it was like to build a yurt and be able to kind of put our own little spin on it. And I think we've achieved that. And so now we are probably going to be selling the yurt and finding a new good home for it, and then moving on to our next adventure, whatever that might be. We're taking suggestions.
Tiny house living 3.0 for you now.
Yes, submarine, treehouse, there's a lot of different options.
Well, you've both done such a great job with the design and build of this house. I think you've taken a really unique traditional home and given it a wonderful modern edge. Thank you both so much for sharing it with me.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming, Bryce.
Zach and Nicole set out to build something special, and that is exactly what they've done. The goal was to create a modern and contemporary twist on the traditional yurt, and they have absolutely succeeded in doing that, all while creating a beautiful home for themselves.